The guest of today's episode is a talented writer specialized in children's literature. Our writer has won many local as well as international awards. He won the New Horizons Award from the Bologna International Children's Book Fair in Italy, which is an award given to one book at the level of Asia, South America, Africa, and Australia. And it's one of the two most important awards. It is awarded annually worldwide by the exhibition. Our guest is Yaqub Al-Sharouni. Yaqub Al-Sharouni was born in the year 1931 in February in Cairo, where he studied law and obtained a law degree in May 1952. And in 1955 he obtained a postgraduate diploma in political economics from the Faculty of Law, Cairo University, Egypt. In 1958, he obtained a postgraduate diploma in applied economics from the Faculty of Law, Cairo University. In 1953, he assumed the position of delegate of the State Litigation Authority in Egypt. In 1954, he worked as a lawyer at the State Litigation Authority. Until 1959, he reached the position of Deputy of the State Cases Authority. In 1967, he was appointed, at his request, as Director General of the General Authority for Cultural Palaces and Supervisor of the Culture Directorate and the Palace of Culture in Beni Suef Governorate in Upper Egypt. Then, upon his request in 1968, he was transferred from his judicial position at the Ministry of Justice to work as Director General of the General Authority for Cultural Palaces. In February 1969, he traveled to France for 10 months on a scholarship from the French government to study cultural work among the masses, especially in the field of child culture. In 1970, he was chosen as Director General of Child Culture and Child Culture Palace, specialized in the General Authority for Cultural Palaces. Then, he was chosen as advisor to the Ministry of Culture for Child Cultural Affairs in 1973. In 1975, he became responsible for training affairs at the Ministry of Culture, in addition to his work as an advisor to the Ministry of Culture for Child Cultural Affairs. Until he was selected as President and Director General of Legal Affairs for the Ministry of Culture, in addition to his work as an advisor to the Ministry of Culture for Child Culture Affairs. He was retired in 1991, but he remained under contract with the Ministry of Culture as a consultant for children's cultural affairs. And between the year 1982 to the year 2008, he worked as a visiting professor of children's literature, stories, and theater in the faculties of education at the universities of Helwan, Alexandria, the South Valley, Tanta, and Kafr al-Sheikh in Egypt. In 2003, one of the children's satellite channels chose him as a consultant to evaluate the children's programs that are broadcast on that channel. And between 2005 and 2008, he worked as a consultant to publish children's works at the Knowledge Publishing House. And between 2006 and 2007, he worked as a consultant for editing children's works issued by the Egyptian Ministry of Environment. And in 2007, he worked as a consultant for children's works issued by one of the most famous publishing houses in Egypt. His membership in many bodies, the writer Yaqub Sharuni was a member of the Egyptian Writers' Union from 1965 to 2008, and a member of the Supreme Council of Culture, Child Culture Committee from 1970 to 2007, and a member of the Association for Integrated Care for Primary School Pupils from 1978 to 2007. And a member of the jury for a prize for children's literature for young authors from 1989 to 2007. In 1993, he was a member of the committee of the Arab Organization for Education, Culture and Science, in charge of developing a comprehensive national plan for the Arab child culture. And between the years 1995 to 2008, a member of the Egyptian Council for Children's Books. In 1999, he was a member of the jury for the State Prize for Children's Literature in Jordan. He is a member of the Bibliotheca Alexandrina Advisory Committee, Committee on Childhood and Adolescence from 2002 to 2008. The number of books he wrote for children and published books reached more than 400 books. Among the most important of his books are The Wonderful Mystery of Disappearance, 1981, The Final Surprise, 1983, The Adventure of the Hero Mansour, 1984, The Wonderful Journey of the Bridge of the Nile, 1994. The fifth edition was published in 2004. The Adventure of a Flower with a Tree, 1997. In 1998, 10 volumes containing 1,000 stories were published, entitled 1,000 Stories and Tales. Midnight Spritz, 1998, including 5 editions, the last of which is 2005. A Tree Grows in a Boat, 2002. The Grace Fund of Our Lord, 2002. The Tale of Tariq al-Ala, 2002. Best of them all, I'm Free, 2002. Pride and Fangs of a Tiger, 2003. The Tale of Radobis, 2004, translated into French, English and Hungarian. The Enchanted Horse, 2004, translated into French and English. Known in the Land of Money, 2004. Hasna and the Royal Snake, 2004. 2 editions of which were published, the last of which was in 2005. In the years 1970 to 2008, writer Yaqub Sharuni participated in the discussion of a large number of master's and doctoral theses on children's literature and their books, and he also participated in supervising the preparation of a large number of these letters, representing Egypt in a large number of international and Arab seminars and exhibitions. In addition, he organizes workshops on the art of writing for children and telling the story. And he gives lectures almost every week on developing children's reading habit and methods of dealing with them in the cultural field. From 1979 to 2002, he wrote weekly television programs for children, the most important of which was the weekly New Generation magazine program, which lasted from the year 1975 to the year 1995. As for the years between 1981 and 1986, he worked as a consultant for Children's Libraries Affairs, and from 1996 and until 2008, he supervised the publication of the magazine The Magic Pen, issued by the Integrated Care Association Libraries. From 2001 to 2008, he supervised the permanent monthly symposium for children's literature and culture in several public libraries and ran the monthly children's literature workshop for young creative people in this field. Awards won by adult children writer Yaqub al-Sharuni won the first prize for writing a theatrical novel in 1960 from the Supreme Council of Arts and Literature, Ministry of Culture, Egypt, for the play Heroes of Our Country. And in 1962 he won the first prize for theatrical composition from the General Authority for Theatre and Music Arts, Ministry of Culture, Egypt, for the play Ginint al-Mahatta. In 1981, Yaqub al-Sharuni also won the award for the Best Children's Writer from the Egyptian Association for the Diffusion of International Affairs for his novel The Wonderful Mystery of the Disappearance. In 1998, he won the Best Child Writer Award for a group of his books for children from the Supreme Council of Culture, Ministry of Culture, Egypt. In the same year, he was awarded the prize for the Morale Affairs of the Armed Forces in the competition for children's literary creativity for his book Heroes of the Land of Turquoise. In the same year, he was also awarded the Sindbad Award from the Cairo International Festival for Children's Films in recognition of his pioneering role in children's culture. In 2002, writer Yaqub al-Sharuni won the special jury prize for the best author in a competition for children's literature for his book The Most Beautiful Folk Tales. In the same year, he was awarded the New Horizons Award from the Bologna International Fair in Italy for children's books for his book The Most Beautiful Folk Tales, a prize given to one book every year. In 2005, he won the Excellence Award in another competition for children's literature, Egypt, about his three novels, The Tales of Radubis, Hassan's Dreams, The Enchanted Horse, and in 2007 he won the Best Author Award in a competition for children's literature, Egypt, for his novel The Secret of the Queen of Kings, whose theme is based on the life of Queen Hatshepsut between 1996 and 2007. Yaqub Asharuni won a large number of medals and certificates of appreciation from various associations and bodies from Egypt and the Arab countries in appreciation of his creativity in the field of children's literature. His most important studies in 1981 books: Development of the Reading Habit in Children, 1990, Educational Values in Children's Stories, 2002, How to Read to Our Children, 2002, How to Tell a Story, 2002, Developing a Child's Mind and Intelligence, 2002, Village Child Culture and Working Child Culture, 2002, How to Play with Our Children, There are more than 19 master's degrees, and his doctor spoke about the writer Yaqub Asharuni and his literary works. For example, in 2004, The Joys and Sorrows of a Child of This Time, a study on the problems of the child in the literature of Yaqub Asharuni, written by the writer and critic Farid Muhammad Muawad, which is the first place winning study for the Critical Studies Award and the Supreme Council for Culture, Ministry of Culture, Egypt, 2004. The great writer Tawfiq al-Hakim Yaqub Asharuni was nominated in 1963 to obtain a sabbatical grant for literary writing and said, "I fully recommend this request to what I know about Mr. Yaqub Asharuni of the talent that was evident in the play, Heroes of Our Country, which won first prize in the Supreme Council Competition for Arts and Culture and Literature." Dr. Suhair Qalamawi said in the report of the committee that awarded Yaqub Asharuni the Best Children's Writer Award in 1981, Professor Yaqub Asharuni's method regarding what children should have has achieved long-term horizons, ease, simplicity, and education. We covered it in terms of the language in which we speak to the children. The great writer Yaqub Asharuni in 2020 recently won the State Appreciation Award, which is given for the first time to a writer in children's literature for the entirety of his works, which he started in the year 1969, when the Supreme Council of Culture and the Egyptian Ministry of Culture, headed by the awarding of the pioneer of children's literature, writer Yaqub Asharuni, announced the award. The children's writer Yaqub Asharuni was able to be one of the most important children's writers in the Arab world.